to music with a beat. Watch my paisan, John PETILLO, right here.
Hey, what do you know? It's the Johnny PETILLO Show. Hey, what do you know? It's the Johnny PETILLO Show. The man about town, the man in AC. Tune in to channel 53. I said, hey, say what do you know? It's the Johnny PETILLO Show. It's the Johnny PETILLO Show.
And with that amazing introduction, I want to, there you go. I want to just thank my guest, my special guest, all the way in Florida, a person I've known for many, many years, actor, entertainer, comedian, Johnny PETILLO. John, thank you so much for being with us on this edition of KARLS Korner. And I've been wanting to get you on here. I know we've been talking a little bit, and we're going to speak about the music business, your wonderful career. And how the hell are you, buddy?
Hanging right in there, Carl. You know what? I like that KARLS Korner, KK.
Yeah, how do you like that logo, man?
Yeah, no, I saw the KK. I thought maybe you married one of the Kardashians.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I would be doing this in Beverly Hills, not 75 miles away from Beverly Hills. So yeah, again, love to have you on here. I know you may not have been a guest that often, but when I was living in the Atlantic City area, because right now, obviously, I'm in California, you're outside of Pensacola?
No, outside of Sarasota. Actually, it's Ellington. Yeah.
Okay.
Ellington, Florida.
And that's the Gulf Coast. That's the Gulf Coast, right?
Yeah, it's on the West Coast. Yeah, the East Coast. I love playing over there, but it's like Brooklyn with palm trees. Like you never left. You know what I mean? Everybody's yelling at the lights.
Brooklyn. Yes. Well, some people that may not, we know who you are, but people maybe of a different age and they see this and want to say, give us a little bit of resume, where you grew up, and all that, and how you ended up getting into the music business.
Yeah. Well, I grew up, born and raised in Asbury Park, New Jersey. And I remember, if you had to grow up any place, that's the place, because you had the ocean, and then they called it like the city by the sea, and even Robert De Niro did a movie, City by the Sea. But growing up there, when I was real young, 12 years old, I was like we were singing, you know what I mean, on the street corners, and there was a house called the Sicilianos. And I used to call it Siciliano doo-wop boot camp, because that's where you learned. And then the first group we had was the Criterions. And with the Criterions, that on the screen now is the Prels. That was the Criterions plus one. That was like the last leg of the Prels, that one there. But the three of us we'll call the Criterions. And then we were opening up then, like 14 years old. We were opening up for the Dixie Cups, the Tokens, the Frankie Valli, Four Seasons, Soupy Sales. We were opening up for all at a young age.
So who discovered you at a young age, at that age, to get you professionally at that age, John?
Well, we were, like I said, we were a street corner group, and the Sicilianos, Sammy and Patsy Siciliano, they were like Sammy and this guy Ray DeRouge. They were like mentors to us. So as we were going, then we cut a record called "Darling When I" that they wrote And then they would put us in all these shows. And I mean, back then, like in the early 60s, nobody knew who we were. And, but we were open up, like I say, for this big act. Now, there's the criterion. Myself, my cousin Frankie Campanelli, God rest his soul, 2004, he passed. And Tony Orifici, Rip. That was us. That was the criterion. That's how we started out. And then when we went
how old were you here?
I was right there about 14.
14?
Yeah. Now I'm 18. So I'm doing good. No, so 14, yeah. I mean, we were 14, 15 years old. We had no idea about the business. All we knew was that we wanted to sing, you know? And then with the criterions became the Prels, because we had the guy Patsy Siciliano, and that's when we really, you know, we were doing good. And then Patsy left because he was going to be he became a music teacher. That was like the last Prels. That was the one in the white on white jackets. Matter of fact, Tommy DeVito took that picture right there from the Four Seasons when we opened up for them at Convention Hall in Asbury Park. He was a great guy, man. Tommy DeVito, God rest his soul. But he was, come on, you need a picture, come on. And that was like taken with a Kodak or something, and it lasted so long.
Now, were you writing your own material, or were you just doing covers, or no?
Well, we started with, they wrote our material, then we started writing our own. So we wrote a song, A Chant of Love, and we did that at the World's Fair in 1965. We did that.
64, that's New York, right?
Oh, yeah. That was that was pretty exciting for us because we played the New Jersey Pavilion, and on that show, they had like local people, like they had, what's his name, Stevie Van Zandt. He was with the Mods. Springsteen was with the Castiles. He had a band called the Castiles. Everybody from Asbury Park, and then the Squires. We played that New Jersey Pavilion. Now, the song that we recorded back then was called Chant of Love. And it was like, the hook was, bo la 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 la, bo la 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 la, bo la. So when we got done with that song, when everything was over, when you hear the people leaving, you know, like the pavilion going, they were like singing that song as they were going out. I went, oh man, we got a hit. And of course, I was wrong. That wasn't a hit. But I mean, just to have people singing your song as they're walking out of the, like out of the theater.
Now, were you getting any radio play or anything with that?
Yeah, we got some like local, like WJLK in Asbury Park. It just didn't do it.
Nothing out of New York, like Cousin Brucey or anything out of ABC.
No, I think I got to play on ABC, but it was, back then, Carl, if you didn't know somebody, I mean, that could really.
You're talking about payola now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were all broke. We didn't know.
Yeah, there was no payola for you guys.
No. Okay, what were we going to give them? I could have gave one of my sweaters. But I mean, back then it was just a different era altogether. Today, like what we're doing now, this could be like a hit show. You know what I mean? It's easy access.
God's ears.
What's that?
It lips to God's ears to have this a hit show, John. But I would love to have you on the hit show.
Oh, listen, I always say, Tiny Tim was the biggest star at one time in the world.
Because
everybody knew who he was.
Right.
Who would have bet on that?
But he had Johnny Carson helping.
Oh, big time. But when I was with Danny and the Juniors, he was on tour with us. We did like 35 days all in Illinois. and he opened up for us, Tiny Tim, like the whole tour. And let me tell you something. He was high energy. He didn't stop. The drummer kept boom, boom, boom. The drummer didn't stop. It was like one long medley. I remember he opened up with a song called Dozy Dotes and Lambsy Divey. Did you ever hear that song? Whatever that was.
I can't say that I have.
What's that?
I can't say that I have, John.
Well, it's an old song. It's like from the 20s. But that's the kind of stuff he was, but I'll tell you what, I've got to give it to Tiny Tim. I mean, he had that crowd. He ended the show with "Do You Think I'm Sexy?" and started taking off his jacket. You know what I mean? You don't expect that from Tiny Tim. So this crowd was going crazy. And then we came on. So we had thank God our energy was high. Yeah, see, now that's the juniors. That's what that was with Joe Terry. He passed away. Frank is the only one left, really. And the other Danny the Junior pitcher was just the three of us, Danny, myself, and the other guy, Bobby. That was a black and white pitcher. That's Joe Terry. That was after Danny passed.
I'm looking to see if I have one with the original one. I'm just, these are small for me. I'm just saying.
That's the original guys right there. That's Dave White.
Okay.
I'll go left to right. Dave White, Joe Terry, Frank Maffei, and Danny Rapp. The one I'm talking about is the three of us, and we're kind of like leaning down like this here, and Danny was in the middle. That was our last promo picture that we took.
Yeah, for some reason I don't think I have it on my grid here, but let's see.
We might have it, but you got it. The three pictures of me.
What's this one, John?
There it is. Wait a minute.
I got it.
That's it. That's it. That's we went through the Jolly Joyce agency in Philadelphia.
And that's obviously you on the right.
That's me, man.
Now, what year was this, John?
Oh, gosh. I was in the 70s. 78. 78, 79, something like that.
So how long were you with them?
Oh, Danny and the Juniors, my goodness. My whole career, I had to be, wow, over 30 years with them. I mean, it was like, then I was in and out because after Danny passed, it was just the Juniors. And it was, it was just the three.
Did Terry take over immediately? Immediately.
He owned it. He had the trademark of the name. So, that was a tough time because Danny was gone. And then when you say Danny and the Juniors, so then it became Danny and the Juniors featuring Joe Terry, which, and then when they used to introduce us, they would always say Danny and the Juniors. You know what I mean? It just got very complex. Which group is that? Because at one time there was both of us were out there. Joe Terry had his group, Danny had his, and it was. It gets very confusing. Sometimes you join these groups, they're like battlegrounds. You don't know what you're getting into at first, and then then it all works out. You start doing national TV shows, and we used to go to Europe. Man, that was you felt like the Beatles when it was amazing.
Yeah, actually, talking through Anthony, we have to bring up our friend Anthony Santinelli that introduced me to you guys. And I was talking to David Allen Pratt about 2 weeks ago, who was the DJ. He's still there at Cool 98.3 down there. And he actually was our MC for the summer of '99 when we actually promoted Charlie Gracie in June and Danny and the Juniors with Joe Terry on Labor Day of 1999. And that was a heck of an experience. And if it wasn't for him, but John, there's a picture of me with David and Anthony, and myself, and I am beaming. And I've just always been on the fringes of entertainment and producing and trying to do TV and here and that. Never really got into it. And Anthony looked at me. He goes, "You really like this?" I said, "No, Anthony, I love it." So I understand what you guys go through, and it's like I hit this age and went through life situations and whatever, and I think maybe this is going to be my last hurrah being on this new format is podcasting. But then very unique people and interesting people in entertainment like yourself, maybe we could ride this wave, John, and see where it takes us. But yeah,
Why
your career is
not?
amazing. Yeah,
Because you have waves over there, I got waves over here. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Pacific,
When
Atlantic.
you mentioned you might actually come out here sometime in the near future, that's wonderful. Be
Oh
coming
yeah,
out here.
no, it'll be really in the near future. I was going to tell you, my daughter lives out there, and I think we talked about that. I won't be too far from you,
Yeah,
about a half
I'm
hour.
always, well, it's in California, LA traffic. You talk about an hour and a half. But it's only about
Hey, when I
75
lived in
miles.
LA, oh sorry, what were you saying?
No, I'm just saying, I'm about 75 miles from Santa Monica, but it's not going to be unless you go at 2 a.m. or some crazy time. But yeah, it would be great if you come out here. So,
Oh yeah, man.
how did you get? I know you had and you still have a current uh, professional and friendship with Tony Orlando. How did
Oh
that
yeah.
develop?
Well, the first time I met Tony was in Vegas in the early '70s. Well, actually, the mid '70s, right before I joined Danny and the Juniors. So Tony, he had this like in the '70s. I remember. I mean, we were all young. Everybody was young. So Tony Orlando. Then as time went on in the '80s, now when he wrote that show, Jukebox Streams, that's when we really, I got really close with Tony. Just the greatest guy in this business. I'm serious. The guy is just so generous, and I got the part immediately. And we were doing like 5-6 weeks in Atlantic City. Then we go to Lake Tahoe. We go to New York with that show, with Jukebox Streams. And it was, oh, yeah, there's a picture. Oh, that's with Jay Siegel. Yeah, from the Tokens.
Actually, through Anthony, I met him going up to Red Bank, New Jersey, when they had an oldies show, and I met all of the Tokens. It was an amazing
Count
time.
Basie Theater?
Yes, Count Basie Theater with the Capris, not the Duprees, and the ones that did move, and actually Johnny Maestro, the Brooklyn Bridge, So it's a shame I didn't have my cameras, didn't have the video cameras, but we had what we had.
Been nice. Yeah, and especially Johnny Maestro. Well, the Capris now, but you know what it is, Carl? The doo-wop thing. It's there's just most of the originals have passed. Like the Drifters, all gone. Coasters, gone. The Platters, gone. But yet, they'll have tonight the Platters. But they're all, they're all young. So somebody has, whoever owns the name,
It's just like the Temptations and the Four Tops, and Motown's still traveling, but those guys have been long gone.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? The Four Tops, though, I got to say, out of every group, these four guys got along so great. They never split up. You know what I mean? They always did. It was the four original. I think Levi well, there's only one left. Was Duke. Duke is the only guy left, and he has three other people. I think his son is in with the two now. So that's kind of the doo-wop thing. You know what I mean? Now,
yeah, because the audience, three-quarters of the audience is going too. That grew up at that time. That's the problem.
That's what I mean. So you gotta. It's like I say, and then when I was with the Duprees, Now, there's no originals that are performing with the Duprees. That's just, now there's a Tommy Petillo, and he's the lead singer. Now, well, we found out we're cousins because we're same place in Italy, but who knows? But it's there's three of them now. Now the other guy just left. You see what I'm saying? It's not the original. It's not the original groups. They just have, but they a lot of these groups, they won't put tribute, like a tribute to the Dupree or tribute to the whatever group that's out there, because most of like with the Drifters, there's no original Drifters, but yet they'll use the Drifters. They should use the sounds of the Drifters or the Drifter. If you weren't in the studio when they recorded those songs, then it's a tribute or it's or you just formerly of. Yeah, it got pretty messy.
I could imagine. Now, John, did you write much that you have? Because I know a lot of people, that reach a certain age that they still would be able to get royalties, or just, you were just a performer. And but did you write much?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote like with Danny Rapp. We recorded so many things different in and out. Then you go into a town and I used to get royal, and we used to do TV and radio commercials because of At the Hop. So those, I was getting some royalties there, but when Danny passed, that was it. Everything stopped for me because I was under his flag, Danny Rapp.
So getting back to your relationship with Tony Orlando, so that really escalated once you met him in Vegas, and then he ended up having some show.
Yeah, I mean, it escalated to a point where I was steadily on the road with Tony for 10 straight years. I mean, I still perform with him. I just did the PNC Arts Center there a few weeks ago in Jersey. And then I do my one-man shows there. I seen that little D. Martin thing there. Yeah, I was with the Rat Pack show. But with Tony, he just introduces me, in the middle of the show. I'll come up there, do my thing. I'll do something with him, and then he call me back, and sometimes I close with him. I would just have a lot of fun. I mean, here's a guy, Carl, 5. Yeah, that was the last. See that picture right there? That was the last performance of Danny and the Juniors, right there. Frank Maffei, Bobby Maffei, and myself in Emporia, Virginia. That was a week and a half after Joe Terry passed away. So we still did the gig, but that was it. That was the last one.
What's this? Where is this picture? I love the
oh man, that's my favorite. That said at the Mohegan Sun. I was at 10,000 people. I was with Tony Orlando, and man, he just let me do my thing, and there was the result of it right there. I thought, oh man, when I saw that picture, I'll tell you, I got a little choked up. I'll be honest with you. So holy cow. And then Tony Orlando goes, look, he said, that's a great picture, but look at their faces. Tony always said, look at their faces. That's the thing. That's not, they don't look mad.
No, John, I always say when, you have a gift, because I've been to many concerts, and actually for 2.5 years, I used to work, a little part-time job at night, the old Spectrum in Philly. And the supervisors were actually my cousin's brothers-in-law and everything. So we always got that top spot. So my first night was Phil Collins, No Jacket Required, but I was in the pit. And I was just seeing the absolute brilliance of his band and him, but then just seeing he had the audience in the palm of their hand, because you're that close looking at the people. And John, that's a gift, and I know you have it not on that scale, the smaller scale, but you have the same thing, which is a gift.
I love it. I mean, I still love it. I still and it is a gift. It absolutely is a gift. In this business, the egos are crazy. And I always say with ego, EGO, edging God out, because that's what everybody thinks it's that this talent comes from above. It's and you have to be very grateful for it. I believe God gives you talent just to see what you're going to do with it. You know what I mean? Because you could really, you know.
But just the saying that, you know, some major entertainers from the past, and like even like a Barbara Streisand, had stage fright. They would just wanted to record and really not. Yes. Now, did you ever have anything? So you just had not, but you have to have an ego to be in any business, and be in, especially that business, to be in front of people.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a different kind of ego. It's just to get your feet up on that stage, because they did a study, and this was so unbelievable. The study was like, what's the main fears and phobias? The main fear is for people is speaking in front of people. The second fear is death. So in other words, you rather die than talk in front of an audience. Talk publicly.
That's funny.
But it's true. Funny. I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, because I never, thank God, I never had, like, my thing was more being anxious, the anxiety, just getting up. I want to get on the stage. As far you always got to have those butterflies before every show since I'm a kid. I always had those little butterflies, you know. And if I don't get them, then I'll worry why I don't have, and then you'll get them, and then you're fine. Because you got to go up there just because it makes you focus.
Well, you got to understand also that, you know, people have good days, bad days, maybe not feeling so well, but then, you know, as they say, the show must go on. So I'm sure you have a lot of stories when you've toured so much.
Oh,
but,
man.
You know, but you know, how many actual live performances have you done throughout the years, John? Because it has to be 40, 50 years. Have you chronicled anything to that point, to actually put it in a book or anything, or any like memoirs?
It's funny. My wife and I were working on it. It's amazing, because this past June, I've been in this business 60 years.
Wow.
60 years. And I'm thinking, wow. Because I was the first time we got paid, we were 14.
And when did you get paid? What was your salary?
$5 a piece we got. $5 a piece. It was in Bradley Beach, New Jersey. I'll never forget, it was a party. And we were the Prels with the white jackets on. And, you know, we're at this party. Everybody had shorts. I mean, we were talking about being overdressed. But, you know, we did our act and thing. And I'll never forget this woman. She came up. Yep, that's the thing. And my cousin Chicky, too, was in it. But he just played the drums. And this woman came up and gave us $5 a piece. He goes, this is for you. This is for you. I said, oh, when we got the money, we go, wow, we're pros now. We're professionals. But we've been doing this since we were 12. You know what I mean? It was like a couple of years. We never got paid. Whoever thought about money when you're on a street corner or you're doing it? You know, that's when the business gets a little bit involved. You know, where's the money? Who gets the money? Because we always split everything.
Now, did you have an agent? Did you have agents that booked you? And because look, we always see
that was later on. Later on, this one guy, like Ray DeRouge, Billy Terrell, they booked us. Like Billy would get us like in the beginning, but like for the Soupy Sales, when we went up for Soupy Sales, that was strictly through Asbury Park. They just picked out the groups, whoever, you know, who they thought should open up for, you know, for these big acts, like, you know, Frankie Valli, Soupy Sales, the Tokens, things like that. And we did a lot, mostly Convention Hall in Asbury Park or different theaters like around Keyport, New Jersey. Then we went to New York. You know, it was everything was a step. You know, like when I was with Danny and the Juniors, like from there I went right to the Duprees, and like the second gig was at Madison Square Garden. So I mean, I'm like, whoa. So I opened it up. Back then, what was his name? Oh boy, when you get old. He used to put on the Madison Square Garden, like the oldie shows.
Was it through a radio station? Was it before pre-CBS with those like Don K. Reed and all that
Well,
stuff?
Don K. Reed actually at the show, at that show, Madison Square Garden, Don K. Reed was the MC.
Okay, yeah.
And that big promoter, he's gone now. What's his name? His wife just died. How could I not?
You'll remember it.
Yeah, it'll come. I have my wife Google it.
She's your producer next year, right?
Oh man. Yeah, but those shows, like playing those shows, like Madison Square Garden, but with Danny and the Juniors and the Duprees, I mean, I worked some big venues, and even after the Duprees,
20,000 seats, of course.
20. I mean, man, you know, my first gig really with Danny and the Juniors, I went from a club called the Sunset Lounge in Asbury Park. Danny picked us up there, and he came up and did at the Hop. You know, I said, you know, you got to do it. So we went from there. We went to Madison, Wisconsin, and did this big country club. I don't know, it was like 500, 600 people there. The next gig was in Austin, Minnesota, and we did this hockey arena. And I mean, everybody was on that show. W. Checker closed it. But the Drifters, the Coasters, the Platter, I mean, you go on, Bo Diddley, Little Anthony. I mean, it was a big card. 20,000 seats, though, all filled up. Pretty good, though.
So, and when we spoke a little bit, you know, coming up before we were scheduling this, you said you spent a year out here in California. So what got you out here? What were you trying to accomplish? And I know you said you were only out here for a year. So if you could give a little bit of background, what happened out here?
Yeah. You know? I after I did Asbury Park, like we played all the clubs, I said, man, there's got to be more out there. You know, so I said, well, I'm going to go to California. I went to California. I went to the Comedy Store, and they had the open mic nights. So I would do them. And then I hooked up with this agent, and he was like, hey, go try out for this. Go try. So the one thing I got to say, they were auditioning for Happy Days. So they said, yeah, you know, they want like a greaser type. You know, that's how they used to. A greaser. Hey, man. So I go, and the auditions were closed. They already got, like, Henry Winkler. But Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees, he auditioned for that. I never got a chance to audition for the Fonz. If I got it, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have fainted. But I never got, and I think, you know, I look back at that. If something like that would have happened, though, man, I mean, you're talking, you're literally, your life changes. I mean, going from Asbury Park, a place called the Sunset Lounge, to Hollywood, it's a big jump.
So you were trying to do this comedy then. You were trying to do comedy, not music.
Oh yeah, but I was still singing, because then I would go to the Improv on Melrose in L.A., and I would go to the Improv because they had a piano there. So you go there, you slip the guy about $5, and then you sing. You know, instead of doing your comedy out, you do a little comedy for a few minutes, and then you finish it out with a song. So then I would do that almost every night. I would just pick different songs. Had a great piano player there. And then, so I was always trying to mix them both in, which I still do today.
But what made you say you wanted to come back to the East Coast rather than just try to, stick it out and maybe try something bigger out here?
Yeah, Hollywood wasn't for me at that time. It was just, it was, I was on the road, so I figured, you know what? I went right back up on the road.
Okay.
If you got a certain thing there, if you get blessed with like a sitcom or something, or then you're in. But it's hard. In the '70s, it was even harder. And what's that?
No, I know you were talking, but I was just wondering because did you try out for The Sopranos?
I sure did.
Now for Sill's position, that character, because every time I saw it, I know you could have played that role just as good as he did.
Well, you go in there with such confidence, but they sent me the script. So I'm looking at the script and I memorized the whole thing. I'm going, there wasn't that much to it. It was a character that would have got killed off in like 3 or 4 episodes. So I'm reading. I said, all right. So I'm walking around the house. Hey, over. I didn't even have to act, Carl. You know that. I didn't. It was I go there and they had a chair like that you had in school with the desk, and they had the microphone over here, and she would read you the line, and I said, wait a minute, I didn't rehearse it that way. I said, I had a guy got to move around. No, sit down. Everybody sits down. And personally, I thought it was a bad audition because I couldn't get into it. I mean, I got into the character and everything, but sitting here now, you're still using your hands. You know what I mean? We're Italians.
Now, was it with David Chase at all? Was the main producer there? Was it David Chase?
He wasn't there, David Chase. A girl, what was her name? Mary Clay. I think it was his assistant.
Right.
She was there. But I didn't get the part. But 2 weeks later, a friend of mine says, hey, they're auditioning for the 12th night of Shakespeare. I said, if I didn't get the Sopranos, I'm going to get to Shakespeare. I got it. It was a role. I played a servant to the Queen. So the thing was 12th night, and Catherine, she's going to kill me. She directed it. Tormania. But that part, man, if I heard the word cut one more time, I said, man. They made the movie, and we were going on different locations: New London, Connecticut, Asbury Park, New York. I mean, we were just doing different locations for this Shakespeare thing. I tell you, I gained a whole new respect for Shakespeare. I don't know how these main characters, how they just memorize these lines. Because some of the lines don't make any sense, but it makes plain sense is when the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But well, at least I got that under my belt. But
People
the Sopranos, I didn't get.
People have no idea how a movie's made, how a recording is done, and the back behind. They'll come pay their money and go to a live show, but they don't know just the riggers, the getting everything ready, the equipment and the sound, and making everything is special. That's the one thing, how everything is done and for the final product. So, but it is amazing. John, to change the subject a little bit. And so I met you. How did you settle in the Atlantic City area and decided to do your own TV show?
Well, I said, let me, because Atlantic City was, the entertainment, that's where it was. I said, let me go. So I actually moved there. So when I did that, a guy, Bob Peperato, approached me I was playing. Remember Grable's?
Oh, how can you not see Harry Grable falling off? Harry Grable
Grable.
falling at 3 o'clock in the morning, falling off his chair, right?
Yeah. So
And
Grable's.
all the waitresses slapping him because back in those days, politically correct, you'd always be trying to grab a little something here, grab a
Oh
little something.
man.
Hey, one girl actually hit him with a tray. Stop, Harry.
Yeah. It was. That's right. And I remember when I was there, I was playing there on Sunday nights. So because I knew Harry Grable, he goes, come play for me. Come on. I said, all right. I do the Sunday nights, but Bob Piparato approached me from Salmon's Cable, and Lori Kelly and I, we wound up doing the karaoke show there live from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning.
That was huge there.
Remember that?
That was Sunday. Was that Sunday nights?
That was Sunday night.
Yes, that was packed.
9
You
o'clock.
couldn't get a parking lot. You couldn't get in the
What?
parking lot on Sunday night.
Yeah. Well, it was good. Lori Kelly, she was great to work with because I used to go out in the street, when I used to do that jitney thing. So I told, I don't know, it was like a playoff time or something, and I had a football. So I said, Lori, I want you to run across the street, and I'm going to throw you this football. Catch it. You'll be the talk of the town for the rest of the year. Well, she had high heels on. I'll never forget it. There's Kenny Jeremiah and Tony Orlando in the middle of it. She had high heels on. She runs across the street.
Be quick. I should have waited for you a little bit to put it up. Go ahead. Continue.
That's all right. No, you can put it up again, though. But high heels on, Carl. And she's running. I'm going, oh, man. And I throw this football, and she catches it in high heels. They kept rerunning that. Keep rerunning that one. And so that's the kind of stuff we used to do, with the kind of had people coming up with karaoke, but we mainly did, it was like really a showcase for ourselves. We sang, but that's when, after that was over, then that's when I did my own show at WAC. I just went and talked to Harry and Dave. Yeah, and there, Kenny Jeremiah was my co-host there. And Tony Orlando in the middle there. Yeah, Tony did the show about 5, 6 times, 7 times. I don't know. He says, hey, you want me to? Yeah, Tom, come on. And he came to a lot of the shows, when we were in Atlantic City, doing his Jukebox Stream show. That was another one. Vinny Vella.
Yeah, he was in a lot of the mob movies.
He was a really good friend of mine. We became good friends. And then he had his own show in New York. And then I went and do his show. But man, he had stories, Carl. My goodness.
How could he not? Oh. And I'm looking at the time, John, and we're at 43 minutes, and we haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Holy cow, yeah, 43, 42. I don't even feel like, geez, we didn't even get out of the prels yet.
But you know that I knew this was going to happen. So, John, that's
yes,
good.
You know what? I think you actually predicted it.
Yeah, because we're going to have to continue, a couple more. And, I would love to have this as like a weekly, get together. Tell me what's going on with you, what your schedule is going to be, where you're going to be performing, if you're going to come out here and go back. I hate to use the word reminisce, but about the back days and because young kids today don't understand how much fun we had because we didn't have these little devices were electronic that they had their heads in. You sang on the corner till what, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. That's how the movie Bronx Tale started with the doo-wop guy, just on the end, and then it's funny. There's a scene there, young Italian men romancing the women. You can hear, Marie, get in the effing car!
Yeah.
Now! Screaming holiday time.
I thought of my mother. Yeah, she's like, because she never called me. She always called me Johnny Boy. My whole family, Johnny Boy. Yeah. But when she used to call me, she used to be. As soon as it started getting dark, I mean, you heard it through the whole neighborhood. They said, "Hey, Johnny boy, your mother, hurry up."
Yeah, you got to go home. To go home to lasagna and scuttle soup.
Oh man, there was never a disappointment at that table. Never.
John, look, the one thing in California you probably realized trying to get good Italian food out here is ridiculous. That's the one thing. I love the weather and everything, but I'll give you a real quick story that I went to a local place that served pizza. And I used the term, "Do you sell slices?" And they look at you crazy, like, "No, we'll cut it into slices for you." I said, No. You sell individual slices? They go, "How do you do that?" So, Mac and Manco's on a boardwalk in Ocean City. I went on their website, took a picture. They had that big display of 10, 12 pizzas. And that's how you do it. And I said, "You make more money out of it." And they go, "How do you do that?" I was like, "Oh, these people are out of their minds." So you have to go to different places. There's a couple places around here that are from the East Coast. And one place actually imports their bread from Philly for their sandwiches, so. But yeah, and that's what I posted the other day when I cooked a little bit. And people break out in hives with the meatballs and the soup and the chicken cutlets I make out here.
Oh yeah, those. Florida here to get pizza, it's a it's a journey. You got to go hunting.
It's really
and you wind up in Jersey.
You would think there's a lot more people that would be in Florida that were from the Northeast and Philly and New York. No, you're not having that good of a problem. You having a problem down here?
Not on not on this coast. I mean, I can't even think of a place where sometime my wife will make the pizza. She'll do like homemade, then we can put on whatever you want to put on. Then it's good. But I'll tell you the secret: real sauce. I don't want to say gravy, but that's wrong.
Well, no, gravy's what got the meat in it. Gravy's got once it got meat in it, is gravy.
Once we see red, it's sauce. No matter if the meat is in it or not. You know what I mean? And that was always a thing, sauce, gravy. But then when you go to Italy, it's sauce.
Well, yeah, it's Italian marinade. So look, I'm going to do a prep. Maybe the next show we do, about the TV show. And, you don't have a lot on there, but then there's one that I have to share because to me, it's always one of the most funniest ones that, and I have to just show it and you can elaborate on it, when I play it,
Huh? I think I know. Let me see. Yeah. A.B. Jonathan. That kid's about 25 years old now.
Now you were trying.
What's that?
A little technical there, but you were just trying to do what? Were you trying to just do like a little bit on the man on the street little interview, and the boy and the baby just started laughing uncontrollably for you?
Well, who was? Yeah, well, who was with me was Mike Reardon. He was my co-host for that show, and we were out by the airport, and he was waiting for his wife. So Mike Reardon said to me, he said, "What about those two over there?" I said, "He's got the kid with him. He's not going to want to be bothered." So Mike Reardon, I got to say, he goes, "Go ahead." I said, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. I went over, and there it was. I think that was my best clip ever. That and the shaving.
Well, shaving one. We'll save that to the next one, John. But that was like, what'd you do? Have like 1,500 cuts on your face?
Oh man! And you know what, Carl? It was so. Benny Jeremiah, God rest his soul. He was and this guy John Weir. That's when I had that Amish market for a sponsor. Yeah, Kenny, boy, I miss him.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll bring. But wasn't he looked like Santa Claus too? Then he's the guy with the big white beard.
No, that was a guy. His name was Dave. His name is Dave Thompson.
Oh, okay.
That guy, he was when we did Jukebox Stream, he played a DJ. But then we did the Christmas show with Tony Orlando. Then he was Santa Claus. He looked just like that. But when he did the DJ, he curled up his beard and he put his hair in a ponytail, and he was like a hip DJ for the Jukebox Streams play.
But yeah, so maybe the next one we'll play some of those segments that you still have on YouTube, and obviously the shave. And then you have like a major python or something, a reptile on the show.
Oh man, that's when I had that. Things and Wings and Things was a this store had every animal in there you could think of. So when we called them up, say, listen, bring some animals. All we do is copy from Johnny Carson and everybody else. I mean, let's face it. Well, you try to be different. Well, he brought that python in. Man, I could not believe it.
Yeah, when I saw your clips, I said, "What the hell is that thing?"
Oh, and the thing was in a cage. And he had like five people holding. I'll tell you just how many. 1, 2, 3, 4. There was 4 people holding that snake like that, and he was right on the desk. Next time you got to show that clip, because that thing was right here on me like this, and I was petting it. He could have opened his mouth and swallowed me. I didn't know that. They told me that after the show.
Yeah, if you had some garlic on it, he probably would have after you.
Yeah, hopefully he didn't like garlic, but I think he liked Italian food, this snake.
Yeah, so how long did you actually have the show down there in AC? Because I met you in 97.
Yeah, so I think 96 I did it, or 97, and to 2002, well, whenever they sold it. I think 2001 they sold it, 2002.
Yeah. Now, do you still have all the master copies of your shows?
Yeah, well, I have copies. The masters were on these big
3/4 inch. Yeah, 3/4 inch tapes. Yeah.
Tape some from a DVD from there. It's hard to get that machine.
Yeah.
But I got mostly all the stuff, like on DVD, on VHS. That was back then. Imagine today, like you said, well, my goodness, what we could have done.
John, what I could say, you had people had to come into the studio to be on the show. Technically now, we don't have them to have to go into any studio. As long as they have a laptop or computer and a camera and a microphone, we could do something pretty similar to that, no matter where they are in the country or the world. So I'm offering you that possibility. If you could, I'm sure you know a lot of people that would like to talk about, reminisce about certain things. And hey, I could be the guy. I could be your Mark Chesterton, sitting back and producing it for you back here. And I don't have to be online, but I'm just saying, this thing called StreamYard, which is, John, it only costs $49 for the service for this. And I think it's like, oh my God, it's like almost like free to have this little studio set up.
No kidding.
Yeah, now they have a free version. They have this one. They have a professional version. It's a lot more expensive. But just for what we need here, and I thought of that. I say, John, you could do what you were doing in AC without going into people having to be a guest from, they'll actually physically walk in. Think about it. And I could just go out, you just give me a schedule, and I can produce it for you remotely like I'm doing now. And I don't actually have to be on, when I take myself out of here, you don't hear my mic goes off, and I could actually we could go up to almost 6 to 8 guests per show that I could bring in. So think about the possibilities for yourself.
You know what? I'll tell Tony Orlando.
Yeah, John, that would be God's. I would be kissed the ground. Yes, that would be wonderful.
I should be talking to him sometime tonight.
And I won't. Yeah. Now I will edit. I will just once we're done recording, just so you know, when I finally end, stay on because it just takes maybe another minute to two to get everything synchronized.
Oh,
And
yeah, man.
I will probably air it sometime tomorrow or at the latest Friday morning because I did one with my friend Sam, who's the sports reporter, and that's airing today. But then once it airs, I'll put it on my Facebook page. I'll put a link to your Facebook page to the link that's on YouTube. So, once it's up and running, hey, I'm nobody, but hey, I don't mind being a host or producing it remotely. And he's where? He's in Florida too, or he's in California?
Who, Tony?
Tony.
No, he's in Branson, Missouri.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Good old Branson, in the middle of the country. Now, is that where he resides now? That's where his home is?
Oh, yeah, man. He's been there for years. Well, he had two theaters there. He had the Tie Yellow Ribbon Theater, and then he had a Talk of the Town Theater with Wayne Newton. And here,
Wow.
Talk of the Town, T.O., Tony Orlando, W.N., Wayne Newton. Now, Franny Orlando came up with that, Tony's wife. So that was pretty, that's pretty good. Talk of the Town, T.O., Tony Orlando. Oh, that's the Rat Pack. Yeah.
And
I remember the name of the promoter and how Richard Nader.
Okay. And I just found one picture from when Lucy's show on the All-Star deck with you there.
Oh, and who's that? Jack
McCaffrey. He was a sports reporter for one of the area. But that's the owner. But was he the owner to the left? What was his name again? Dave?
Dave Allen, and he just passed away.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, nice. And Carl, he only lived, how far did Dave live? About an hour. He lived in Venice. About an hour, if that.
Yeah, because he made a lot of money selling that station to the guys from what was his name again? Lenfest, Chase Lenfest.
Lenfest, that's right. Wow.
I worked with him. He was my supervisor when I worked for Radius back in 98, 99. And, his father owns Suburban Cable. So when they sold out to Comcast, they sold it for $3 billion. So the father got $1 billion, he got $1 billion, and his brother got $1 billion. So he had a few shekels to buy the TV station. Man,
I'll tell you, that's some heavy money. The television now, but today everything's infomercials.
So whatever Dave sold that for, obviously he did very, very well.
So you know what? And they never needed anybody to fix anything.
No, because he was
at the studio. They were right there.
Well, yeah, they were the electronics guys, and they were not in it for the programming. They were in it for the technical end and all that. But
that's
John,
exactly.
as we're getting close to the 1 hour mark, I will have this scheduled probably sometime tomorrow at the latest, sometime Friday morning, and I'll just text you and I'll put a notice on your Facebook page. And then once it airs, if you would talk to Tony, he would be interested in doing something. You guys could do it remotely. I could be your producer in the back like this, and you can see how simple it is.
Yeah. Wow.
All I would ask,
all I
would ask to say if you have more pictures and any kind of video footage,
I'll send you all kinds of stuff,
and then I could put them in there rather than share it with Facebook. I mean, with YouTube, it's a little cumbersome that way, but I could put videos up. They have to be MP4s, but I could play them. I have capacity for 10, 15 clips per show, so that would be great.
The 29th, is that the 29th? The 29th, Tony Orlando's getting inducted into the New Jersey Hall of Fame. And
where's that going to be?
That's going to be in Newark.
At the Prudential
Center?
Center?
That's where the thing is. It's a brand new building, and that's the New Jersey Hall. So Patty Scialfa, Bruce Springsteen's wife, Patty, she's getting inducted. Bruce Springsteen's he's been in. Tony's getting inducted. I forget who else. But we're going to go there on the 29th. And Danny DeVito is going to be the MC.
And I didn't know Tony was. Tony's a New Jersey native then.
Oh yeah, Tony only lived
Really?
in New York for 12 years. Because he was from Hell's Kitchen. Then he moved to Union City.
Yeah.
So when he was 12
John,
years old, he was a Jersey boy.
Yeah. Jersey boy.
Wait, you got to watch the Jersey guy. We'll get sued.
Yeah, hopefully we didn't offend anybody with this little podcast.
No,
John, I hope you appreciate. I hope you look how quickly an hour went by. Wasn't I?
I can't even believe it. There was so many things. There's so many things we could talk about. But hey, if you want to do it again, we'll do it again next week, the week after.
Yeah. Doing one right after, I got something else to do. But yeah, why don't we try to do maybe a weekly podcast? When it's convenient for you. And you could keep us up to date. We could talk about this. What's the future of music? Where you're going to be if you're going to be performing? And if you could talk to Tony and he wants to be a part of it and bring other guests on, that would be amazing.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's a wide open field now, brother.
Yeah, and with this technology, you don't actually have to have somebody come into a studio, get the whole crew, get the cameraman, the technicians. You know what you had to, all the people that needed to help you with that stuff. And you could do it in your living room and get a desk and be just like Carson again, and we could do it that way if you want. That way you want it.
My wife here will make the studio up here. It was
hopefully
cool.
Hopefully she liked the way this will turn out, and then we could bring in anybody, no matter where they're in the country and actually the world. So it would be
man,
an opportunity. I'd even change the name of it for the Johnny Petillo Show Part 2 instead of KARLS Korner.
Oh, hey, KARLS Korner. Always put your name first, Carl. This is your show.
You got it. Gotcha. John, on that note, why don't we just wrap it for tonight? And I really appreciate this. And we'll schedule maybe another one sometime next week. And, in the meantime, let me know what else we could do down the road and whoever else we could get on here. And I can't thank you enough, my friend.
Anytime, Carl. You know that, brother. And I'll send you some stuff too. I'll send you some.
Your wife has my email address. Send any video files, photo files, and we could get them. I could load everything up for our next show that we're going to have, and it'll be wonderful. Any questions? She's in. Tell her I thank her.
She's in, right? Thank you.
She was probably wondering, who's this guy? What are you going to do? Come on. She probably was wondering how it's going to turn out, but hopefully it turned out good for you guys.
No, it's great. Are you kidding? What else will we be doing now?
All right, John, on that note, we're going to end it. Yeah, on that note, we're going to end it with my little logo, and then just stay on for a little bit afterwards. We could talk after the recording is done, and then we'll get scheduled for sometime next week. All right, buddy?
You got it, Carl. Thanks, brother. Good talking to you, man.
It'd be excellent. Thank you, buddy.